Wow. Wow. Well, thank you all and welcome to Chicago. Here we go. Here we go. Mr. Chair, thank you for years of dedicated service. Thank you for building this caucus into what it is. And to the leadership up here and to each and every one of you in this room, thank you for the privilege of standing with you. I can't tell you how grateful I am for the leadership in this room. The civil rights and human rights leaders in this room are what this country was founded on, and the work that you've done is transforming lives every day, every single day. So I know. I just saw my good friend and fellow governor, Governor Healy's here coming in just a moment, so I'm glad to be with her. And I had the privilege of serving with two incredible members of Congress. A neighbor to the east in Wisconsin, Mark Pocan, has been a dear friend, and someone who has stood with our veterans as strong as anybody in this nation's history. Mark Takano from California has been fantastic. It's leadership. Well, you might have seen it. There's a little bit of energy in America right now. A little bit of energy. We were in Western Pennsylvania yesterday, riding around in a bus, stopping. I had stopped at my first Sheets. I wanted to know, get that experience. So the Wawa people went nuts after that. So you can't please everybody, but the Wisconsin folks and the Minnesotans know it's about Quick Trip. So that's where it goes. But look, that same energy was in Omaha, Nebraska on Saturday afternoon in thousands. It was the same energy when we were in Philly a week and a half ago. And then thousands of people parked and walked in the sun to a field in western Wisconsin. 15,000 in a hangar in Detroit. I saw the other guy said it was AI, and you know what my response to that is, you know what won't be AI? Their ballots come November 5th. I won't be AI. So just tell yourself it's AI. But it's the same energy. And then out in the desert in Nevada last week, 12,000 people crammed that arena. 4,000 people stood for hours outside in 109-degree heat. Shelby, the state organizer for this campaign, signed up 5,000 of those people to door knock and call. They're showing up for the same reason you're showing up. You love your country. And you know that adage towards a more perfect union is there's work to be done. There's good work to be done. As John Lewis used to say, there's good trouble to get into. There's good trouble to get into. And I'll tell you, this idea of what this nation was founded on, and we are a decent enough and good enough and honest enough people, we can tell our whole history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. And I'll tell you where we're going. One place we're not going is back, as you've heard the Vice President say, we're not going back. And the opportunity, we're not going back. The decency of this, and look, we know who those folks are. We know who they are. They've told us, and we believe them the first time. But what I'm hearing when I'm out there with folks is, this campaign isn't just about voting against those guys. It's voting for a better future. It's voting for a kindness. And I got the opportunity to be around this incredible leader in Kamala Harris and watch how she acts. When we stopped in Pennsylvania yesterday, spontaneously, lots of supporters with handwritten signs. My favorite one, I'm just going to copy this, my favorite one is mind your own damn business. It's out there, so just do that. But she looked, and there was a small group of folks who obviously weren't with us. You can always tell by their hats. They let us know. Always tell by individual thinkers, couldn't tell. But the first thing she turned and said to me was, she says, we're in this to fight for their families as much as those on the other side of the street. That's what this is about. There's a place for everybody. And I keep talking about this. The expansion of rights to everyone that this group has fought for, these guys seem to think it's like pie. Like, oh, we cut the pie, I get a smaller piece. Rights don't work like pie. There's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody to have rights. And you know what? These are ideas that overwhelmingly are supported by the American public. These are ideas feeding our kids, a decent society where everyone has a say, where we respect people's rights. We talk about freedom in this party. The vice president talks about freedom. Freedom to make your own health care decisions. Freedom to love who you want to love. Freedom to read the books you want to read. You heard me say this. I didn't call those guys weird. I said their ideas are weird, and they got really weird ideas. Because here's the thing. Nobody's asking for this crap. Nobody's asking for it. Nobody's sitting around. You know what we need to do? We need to make insulin more expensive. Nobody's saying that. And they're sure the hell not sitting in a bar in Western Pennsylvania saying, you know what we need to do? We need to ban Orwell's Animal Farm. That's what we need to do. Nobody's saying that. What they're saying is, let's make health care more affordable. Let's make child care more affordable. Let's make sure that people are free to live their lives as they choose, and we mind our own damn business and just keep investing. That's all we need to do. So, look, I've been saying it, and I know it. This is preaching to the choir, but it's time for the choir to sing. We've got 78 days to change the direction of this country with a forward-looking, inclusive society that's willing to tackle tough problems. Our kids are asking for some pretty simple things. Give us clean air and clean water, for God's sakes. Do something about this. And you've heard me say it. I have owned firearms and hunted my whole life. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe our kids need to be free to go to school without being shot dead. They need to be able to do that. That's a freedom. They're not mutually exclusive. So look, we got 78 days. We know we have to. This thing's going to be close, closer than it should be. But at the end of the day, for every one of us, I am not waking up on that 79th day to find out that we didn't do everything we could have. Those 5,000 people signed up in Las Vegas, Shelby, who did that. By the way, that night, she ended up in urgent care and had an IV because she was dehydrated from being in the 109-degree sun. She left it on the field. I'm not encouraging you to go to urgent care over this. What I am encouraging, though, is when it feels like it's getting hard and it feels like it's a slog and it feels like people are putting out misinformation, keep our eye on the prize. The eye on the prize. Because, again, 78 days, for Christ's sakes, people in here have been fighting these fights for decades. You've been fighting it. And you've been doing it, the same way the vice president's doing with it. She's bringing vision, compassion. She talks about, look, a strong leader doesn't beat people down. A strong leader lifts people up. And she's done it with joy. We can talk about joy. We can talk about love. We can talk about kindness, because those are strengths. And I'm here to tell you, for those guys on the other side, don't ever mistake our kindness for weakness, because when it's time to come out hard, we will come out hard at you. We'll make the case. So for each of you, 78 days, we can sleep when we're dead, because we're waking up on that 79th day, because you and I both know how great this is going to feel to say, my God, as we look around and say, welcome, Madam President Harris. Let's go. Thank you.